Angie Wong, Miami GOP committeewoman, Steve Gill, publisher of TristarDaily.com. Welcome to you both. Angie, let's just cut to the chase here. President Trump says Americans don't have certain talents needed to do these jobs. I sincerely disagree with that. As a matter of fact, I think Americans can do any job that needs to be done. What say you?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you're both right, but I think the president is speaking the truth and the hard truth about America's skill gap here. His comments certainly hit the nerve with the populist right, and rightly so. There's no reason why Americans couldn't train up for these very jobs. Remember, a lot of this starts with the student visas. They come here to our universities and learn all these skills, software engineering, AI, computer sciences, etc. They're learning it from our universities and then staying on to work here. So, and tech companies love this because they have the golden handcuffs on them, right? Not only do they issue the H1B visas, there's also the dependency visas that come after that. So they bring the families over, and various money like Western Union, etc. They make a lot of money doing this because a lot of the money does not stay here in the U.S. They get imported back to the homeland of the H1B visa holder. So there's a whole economy around this. And President Trump, no doubt, has been pressured a lot by the tech titans to reopen this program, remove the $100,000 application fee. A lot of the pressure is coming from India and China, where they get to benefit from this visa. 71% coming in from India last year, 12% coming from China. For some reason, that seems to be the ecosystem, especially within the tech industries, and President Trump might have bowed down to that.
Steve, here's what I say. Suspend the H-1B visa program 6 months a year, get it under control, and focus also on deporting all the blasted illegals that are still here. I'm just really getting concerned that the White House is veering off course here. What say you?
Yeah, let's quit talking about deporting the millions of illegals and start doing it. And I know we've had some court cases that have slowed the process, but we can expedite a lot of what needs to be done. And I think Angie's right that both you and Trump are both correct. We do have a gap of trained, skilled workers. We can train them up. But if we had to put people into those jobs today, we don't have enough people. We need to get more people trained here and not be looking overseas to fill all those jobs in the long run. One of President Trump's best qualities is his off-the-cuff comments. One of his worst qualities is his off-the-cuff comments. I think this was one of those. One of his best qualities is his stubbornness. One of his worst is his stubbornness. He needs to admit that he didn't say it as correctly as he should have, and that what he means is that we can train people up in these skills, but we can't do it overnight. The bigger problem I see, Todd, with the H-1B program is just the fraud. This is supposed to be skilled labor. And yet a lot of these H-1B folks are working as dishwashers and cooks and hospitality cleaning hotel rooms. That is not what it's intended for. And we need to get all of those people out of the program and out of the country immediately.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're talking about 70% roughly being those entry-level jobs. And then, Angie, the administration coming out and defending this plan to offer 600,000 visas to Chinese students, which, again, people are going, what the heck? And I know the president said, well, some of these universities may go under. I say let it go under. What say you?
Well, yeah, if you've been on any campuses lately, it is filled with foreign students, and they bring the economy to these universities, right? Not only do they need housing, they need the food plans, they need the whole shebang, and a lot of them come without the financial assistance. They're paying cash for a lot of these universities. If you go to Harvard, their endowment is billions of dollars coming in with foreign money, and that is the stem of a lot of the problems that we're seeing on the campuses to begin with. But again, we've gotten so cushy with all that money coming in, and universities do not want that going away. So it is a little bit surprising to see President Trump do an about face on some of these kind of hardline issues, or what I thought was hardline issues coming in earlier in his administration. But clearly there's a lot of pressure. Now, remember, he dropped some of the lawsuits against some of the Ivy Leagues, and maybe that was a tit for tat, a little bit of a, behind behind the scenes trading there. And same thing with the tech companies. They've been by his side, especially with a lot of these state visits and pouring a lot of money into both the U.S. and some of these kind of our allies overseas. So I'm sure there's some sort of friendly arrangement amongst all this. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised to see that he's going to be allowing so many students in, but these universities will crumble because right now they're built almost 50% of some of the universities, 50% of their student bodies are foreign students.
Steve, I have to give you the final word here. Go ahead.
Yeah, they pay full boat tuition, no in-state tuition, no scholarships, no grants. So the universities love that, that high-priced foreign student coming in. But also keep in mind that the deals that Trump made when he was in China, we need the rest of the story. Part of it was to let all these students in. We cut a deal to buy, for them to buy 25 million tons of soybeans each year the next 3 years. And now they've backtracked on that after making that promise. So what's the real deal? Are they backtracking? Are we backtracking? And what's the rest of the story on President Trump's, quote, successful China trip with President Xi?
All right, Angie Wong, Steve Gill, guys, thank you for joining us this evening.